Right, my name's Sarah and Thomas Tobias, and I've been living in Southwark since 1999. So I first experienced symptoms of mental illness when I was 8. Trouble was I didn't understand what I was experiencing. I've subsequently learned it was kind of disassociation, but I couldn't put any words to it, so I kept it a secret, really, about which I became also very ashamed and guilty. Anyway, this disassociative sort of state continued to haunt me, getting increasingly intense until I was 26. Then I was admitted to Springfield. And for the next 13 years I struggled with it as a disorder, in and out of hospital, very little community support, occasional visits to GPs, but basically just struggled through long bouts of depression and then subsequent shorter bouts of elation. So this led me in the end to lose my job and become homeless, and I was finally given a flat by the Peabody Trust in 1999 in Southwark. Getting a permanent address was the beginning, and having some kind of stability was the beginning of me gradually becoming known by mental health service. I pretty much admitted myself to hospital as soon as I got. So I ended up in Guides, and then I was discharged after about 3 months. And then I came out of the episode, but a year later I was back in it. At this point I had not been given any community mental health support. I made a very serious suicide attempt, and that drew services' attention to me, and from then on I got the support of what is now the St Giles Community Mental Health Team, and that actually was one of the big steps that was instrumental in supporting, not causing, but supporting my recovery. My recovery has principally been due to a lot of work in group and one-to-one therapy, I would say, learning from life events and from the patients of friends and family. But it has had to be practically supported by medication and also people who know you on an ongoing basis within services, i.e. the community mental health teams and also home treatment teams. Home treatment was very, very important because symbolically you're actually allowing someone into your flat when you're not very well. So I think home treatment was quite a significant step for me, because prior to that, when I was ill, that was it. The doors were locked, nobody was coming in. I'm not a huge fan of the medical model. I think the human interaction is the thing that kind of potentially can liberate people from mental illness most powerfully. So now, 2015, in terms of service interaction, where I'm at is I've only in the last week I've just been officially discharged from St Giles Community Mental Health Team, and going back to my GP. And some days I have thought, oh my gosh, have I done the right thing? Am I going to need to go back? But I'm hanging on. Each day is different. I think. The Dragon Cafe opened in October 2012. The learning that we are doing here about the power of, I'd say it's the power of 3 things: creative expression, social connectivity and emotional exploration. Southwark CCG come every month and run like a focus group where they invite people who are here in the space to join them and have a conversation about aspects of services or service delivery that they are looking at the moment, to help feed back into their processes so that the services can be as good as possible. Likewise, myself and other members of Mental Fight Club sit on various CCG project groups to oversee the project delivery process. We also take groups of people from the cafe to take part in the CCG Stakeholder Day, which for me is very gratifying. But everyone who went to those days has been very vocal and taken part in what is essentially quite a large and important meeting for the CCG. So all these ways of, like, in a way, sort of opening the door between the service providers and the people at the cafe who use the services to try and refine and develop them to make them more humane, more creative, more open. because I think there is a lot of work to do on mental health services. I certainly have had some very weird and not very helpful experiences in the past, and I'm really crucial to people's recovery to make services as humane and creative and healing as possible.